Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most unexpected developments in the ongoing war, an attack that shocked both sides and may have put one of Putin's closest allies in real danger. This event has sent shockwaves through Moscow and raised urgent questions about the stability of Russia's influence in the region. What happened, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of the war, let's break it down. Reports indicate that Ukrainian forces carried out a precision strike in an area previously thought to be well secured by Russian defenses. This wasn't just a random attack, it appears to have been carefully planned, targeting a location where a key figure loyal to Putin was present. This figure, whose identity Russian media is trying to keep quiet, is considered one of the pillars of Russia's strategy in the occupied territories. The fact that Ukrainian intelligence managed to track and strike so accurately has stunned analysts and military experts alike. The target was reportedly a convoy moving through a supposedly safe zone. Ukrainian drones were used to monitor movement before a combined strike with artillery and guided rockets was launched. The precision and timing of the attack point to a significant leap in Ukrainian reconnaissance capabilities. This suggests Kiev is now able to penetrate Russian communications and predict movements with a higher level of accuracy than before. The person believed to be the target is rumored to have been injured, though Russian state media denies this. What we do know is that the convoy was heavily damaged and several high-ranking officers were either killed or wounded. This level of disruption could throw Russian command structures into disarray, at least temporarily, in that sector of the front line. It also raises the question, if Ukraine can strike here, who else might be vulnerable? This attack matters because it sends a psychological message. It shows that even those closest to Putin are not untouchable. Moscow has long tried to project an image of complete control, but moments like this remind everyone that the battlefield is still dynamic and unpredictable. The morale boost for Ukrainian forces and civilians cannot be underestimated. Each successful strike deep inside Russian controlled territory fuels the belief that victory is still possible. Internationally, this strike will likely be seen as proof that Western intelligence sharing is working. Many observers believe that Ukraine's ability to locate such high-value targets is partly thanks to NATO support. If that is the case, this operation may further anger the Kremlin, which has already accused the West of being a direct participant in the conflict. This could escalate rhetoric from Moscow and lead to retaliatory actions either militarily or through hybrid warfare tactics like cyber attacks. Inside Russia, the political fallout could be significant. Hardliners may use this event to argue that the military needs to take more drastic measures, perhaps pushing for mobilization of additional troops or expanding the scale of attacks on Ukrainian cities. Meanwhile, critics of the war may point to the attack as evidence that Russia's so-called special operation is failing to secure even its own leaders. That could increase tension within the Russian elite, where loyalty to Putin has been considered the ultimate survival strategy. For Ukraine, this is a propaganda victory as well as a tactical one. Kiev can use this success to secure more Western funding and weapons by demonstrating that it knows how to use advanced equipment effectively. It also pressures Russia to stretch its defenses thinner, trying to protect key personnel and infrastructure over a wider area. The more Russia is forced to defend, the harder it becomes for them to launch new offensives. However, this attack could also carry risks for Ukraine. If Russia confirms that a key ally of Putin was indeed targeted, Moscow might feel compelled to respond with heavy retaliation. That could include missile barrages against Ukrainian cities or energy infrastructure. something we have seen in the past when Russia wants to punish Ukraine for major symbolic victories. This means Kiev must prepare its air defenses and brace for potential escalations. Another important point is that this strike comes at a time when the war has been in a grinding phase, with neither side achieving dramatic breakthroughs. A bold attack like this changes the narrative and puts Ukraine back in the headlines worldwide. It reminds Western audiences why continued support is necessary. That kind of media impact can be as valuable as the battlefield result, especially when donor fatigue is setting in across Europe and the United States. Military experts are now debating whether this strike signals the beginning of a wider campaign targeting Russian leadership in occupied areas. If Ukraine can repeat this success, it could undermine Russia's ability to coordinate defenses and supply lines. Leadership decapitation strategies are controversial, but can be effective if done systematically. Russia would then have to commit more resources to protect its commanders, taking them away from other crucial tasks. We also have to consider the psychological effect on Russian troops. Soldiers who see their senior officers being killed in supposedly safe zones may start to question their own security. Fear and uncertainty can quickly spread through the ranks, leading to lower morale and even desertions. That is exactly what Ukraine would want to break, not just the Russian military machine, but its will to fight. At the same time, this development puts Western allies in a tricky position. While they support Ukraine's right to defend itself, they must balance escalation risks. If attacks on Russian-aligned leadership continue, Moscow may claim that Western countries are plotting assassinations, potentially using that as justification for widening the conflict. Diplomats will have to carefully craft messages to avoid giving Russia propaganda victories. Looking ahead, the big question is whether this will lead to a turning point in the war or just be remembered as a high-profile incident. Much will depend on Russia's response and Ukraine's ability to follow up with more strikes. If this is the start of a campaign, we could see a significant shift in the momentum of the war over the coming months. What we can say for sure is that this attack has reminded everyone that this conflict is far from frozen. Ukraine continues to innovate and find ways to hit back, no matter how secure Russia thinks it is. That is a powerful message both to Moscow and to the world. So, what do you think about this latest strike? Is this a sign that Ukraine is stepping up its efforts to target Russian leadership? Could it put Putin's inner circle in real danger? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates as this story develops.